All right. Well, today I have a very nice, it's a Husqvarna TS 248G. It's a very nice garden tractor. It's got the Kawasaki, I believe it's a 25 horsepower Kawasaki engine in it. You can see it has the welded deck, very sturdy. You can always see the when it has the lugs on the tires. And a beefier rear end. I mean, this sucker is just a very nice garden tractor, but it is kind of filthy here. And what I want to do, this thing is, oh man, it's a few years old, but there's like 24, maybe 25 hours on it. So it's virtually brand new, right? But when we took it out, at first I thought it was just, okay, just clean the carburetor and it'll get it going, right? Well, I cleaned the carburetor, took it down for one small stretch down our yard, and then boom, it would just quit. And we tried it again. It would start for a little while, and it was kind of intermittent. It would run for a while, sometimes just 10 seconds, and then it would cut off. Sometimes it would be a couple of minutes, and then it would cut off. And I'm like, well, what's going on? So I wanted to show you what I do to troubleshoot this. This is the first thing I wanted to look at was the fuel solenoid. Let me show you. Yeah, if you can see the fuel solenoid, which is right down here at the bottom of the carburetor. And that was the first thing I wanted to check. And sometimes, let's see if you can hear this. Yeah, look at that, 25 hours. Holy crap. But usually when I'm turning the key like this, when I'm turning the key back and forth, you can hear that fuel solenoid click on and off. See, there it goes. Can you hear that? Well, I can hear it click. It's kind of tough to hear. Every once in a while I would do that and you just wouldn't hear it at all. So that was the first thing I wanted to check, right? But with only 25 hours, I mean, look at it. This thing has just been sitting outside, sorry to say, sometimes under a tree. But if it just quit running, they would just leave it right where it was sitting, right? So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to wash this sucker off, and then I'll show you how to check and swap out the fuel solenoid. All right, let's spray this sucker down. And you can see I use this super cleaner stuff all the time. This super clean is just, I mean, it's unbelievable. I just get it by the gallon and just spray this stuff down. You can see how dirty this thing is right now. All I'm going to do is just spray it down, right? I'm not even going to get a brush after it. Let's get all this stuff. And you got to watch out the fumes on this stuff. Just holy cow, it'll knock you out. But great stuff. I mean, this is the only stuff I ever use anymore. Because there's very little oil and grease. There's some here by the dipstick. So it'll probably clean it really, really easy. But even when I'm spraying down an old dirty oily engine, lawnmower engine, I mean, it'll do the same thing. It'll you just spray it on there and then hosing it off, it just comes right off. I mean, this stuff is it's unbelievable. But yeah, the fumes, holy cow. You can tell it's really, but it works great on oily engines, the caked on stuff, you know. You can hose it down, and of course use a brush if you need it, but this stuff just breaks it down so fast, so easy. And well, is that everything here? I should take it off, but I'll do that too. I think I got everything. If not, I can always hose it back down, but let me grab my garden hose, and I'm not going to use a pressure washer or anything. I'm just gonna hose it down. Are you ready?
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
All right, think about that.
It sound right, boys.
Look at this sucker, man. It's gonna look like new by the time I'm done with this. That's all it was, just spraying it on and hosing it off. Awesome. So super clean. Get it by the gallon and it's much cheaper. But oh, I think my starting to leak. All right, so let's take this hood off and we'll take a look at the that fuel solenoid. All right, I'm gonna push this back a little bit. This will be easier to get to. I guess that's fine. Come here, puppy. See the new addition to our family here. Yeah, she's an oldie. We're figuring she's 15 or 16 years old, so kind of inherited her. It was my parents, and I'd been taking care of her for years whenever they'd go out of town and stuff like that. But it looks like I got to take care of her full time now. So here is the fuel solenoid. See, it's sticking out of the carburetor here, and it has a power cable to it. Let's see if we can get that sucker out. There we go. So when you're turning the key on and off, it's sending 12 volts through this plug, right? And then it's just like a magnet, electromagnet, whatever. So let me get the other one. So this is what it looks like when it's off. And when it sends the 12 volts in, it pulls this stopper down, right? And right now it's kind of hard to push and pull it out. Sometimes it's just, you know, when sediment and everything gets up in your carburetor, well, it settles right down in here, and then it's hard to move it up and down. But that's the first thing I did. I just got some carburetor cleaner and all that stuff, and I was working it back and forth. But you can see it's still. All right, there we go. So like I said, it sends 12 volts in and pop, it pulls it down. So when it's normally up, it's in the carburetor and it keeps gas from getting into the carburetor, right? So when you turn the key on, boom, that opens up and lets carburetor get in there. So like I said, first thing I did, I tried to listen for that little click. You can hear it. But sometimes not. If it's just moving slowly, maybe it's muffled. But you can always check it with the multimeter. And like right now, it's not going to show us anything. I don't have the key on, do I? No. See, it's just 0. Now let me and there's with the key on. So 12.8, 12.9. And turn the key off. There we go. That's what it should be doing. If it's not doing that, then you've got problems somewhere with this cable or something, you know. And I've seen some of these where the clip goes bad. But that's it, really. Once I know now there is power getting to this thing, then I went ahead and took it off and checked it. So when I was clicking it back and forth, this thing wasn't moving. And that's it. One thing to take note when you're taking this thing off, you can see it has the two-sided kind of a bolt here, and it's usually either a 13 or a 12 millimeter. And what you do, a lot of times there's not a whole lot of clearance between here and the bottom of the carburetor. So you see what I did with my wrench. This is just an old, you know, set of from Harbor Freight, and I got it because they were actually thin already, right? Excuse me. But with this, I went ahead and still had to go grind it off a little bit, so you can see how slender it is on the tip. And I did that specifically so that there would be clearance between the fuel solenoid and the carburetor housing there. So consider that. Otherwise, sometimes it's really hard to get a wrench to get in there. But that's it. You take it off, pop the new one on, and it's ready to go. Well, that was it. Kind of an easy fix, right? It's just when something like that happens, you have to troubleshoot it correctly, right? Just get under there and turn the key on and off and see first if you can hear it clicking. If not, then bingo, you can get under there, unplug it, make sure you're getting 12 volts through that cable when you're clicking the key on and off. If you're getting power to it, then take that solenoid off and get a wrench if you have to, right? And I ground it down so I can have clearance under there. You take it off, and then while you're at it, make sure your carburetor's clean too. A lot of times it's that sediment that goes down to the bottom and it'll clog that solenoid up. So clean it out. If it's not moving at all, sometimes they just get stuck. Then just replace it. If you're not getting 12 volts to that cable, then at least you have a point there. Okay, from there I'm going to start searching and see what's wrong, right? But but kind of easy to troubleshoot, right? So it's an easy fix, and it frees me. I'm gonna go back and clean the rest of this Husqvarna up, and I mean it's a beautiful riding mower. If I was gonna have one, this would be it. I mean, this is one of my favorite ones, and but they want me to sell it. They said, man, just take it. They really don't use it that much. You can tell it's only 25 hours on it, and they said fix it and sell it, and I'll take my cut, right? I say fair enough, and I'm seriously thinking about keeping it myself, and but we'll see. It is kind of a costly unit, right? But I think they're worth it. They last a long time, especially the Kawasaki engine. I love them. But, well, I'm starting to ramble, so I guess that is it for this video. And I'll include links to the Super Clean, and what else? I'll include a link to that fuel solenoid if you want, all that good stuff. But I guess that is it for this video. So as always, thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and watch for my next video.